Oh! Regular Show. Maybe my favorite Cartoon Network original series. I think of it as a modern show, but it ended all the way back in 2017. The before times. I feel this show went a little underrated, with others like Adventure Time and Gumball always being discussed more. Do you know what else gets discussed more? My mom! I have never related to any other show more. I had just finished animation school and had zero prospects, worked crappy jobs, and had a lack of hope. I spent my days applying to jobs and walking my dog, and then I discovered this show. A show about two losers, roughly my age, with my sense of humor, failing hard just like old Ashley. This was a show for me. I don't think I had at this point seen a kids show that spoke more to my sensibilities. So much of its references were references that I understood, that I got. Look, it's Billy Mitchell. I get that. I get the reference. Billy went on to sue them over this, so maybe for them it wasn't worth the hassle, but I enjoyed it, so that's all that really matters. Everything in this show captures that early 20s lifestyle, even the dating. Mordecai is basically me with his awkward attempts at getting with girls. One memorable episode shows him nearly getting caught and trapped in the friend zone. Forever. Even the smaller things like Rigby being obsessed with an unimpressive item but being compelled to try and win it because he knows, just like all of us know, that material things are important and make you happy. Ho, jolly good show! And if you missed it, I really recommend you do yourself a favor and fall into the anything but regular world of Regular Show.
Oh, wow, that's really something, Mordecai.
Let me tell you a little story. I used to be Mordecai and Rigby, but as the years have painfully progressed, I now see myself as Benson. So, it's time for me to stop slacking and get back to work as we look at the history and pilots of this, at least for me, formative show. So strap in and get ready for a wild ride of me talking.
Let's do it!
G.J Quental, an American animator, storyboard artist, director, writer, producer, and voice actor. Basically me, but with actual success. And though I've never met him, I imagine a much taller person. In the series, he voices Mordecai and everyone's favorite character, High Five Ghost.
Hello? Goodbye!
From a young age, he was into everything I was into. The Simpsons, King of the Hill, Rocko's Modern Life, all the classics. We both have very great taste, and that is why we should be best friends. And hopefully one day he replies to my emails. Well, just from watching Regular Show, you can see his other passions are very clear, as we see a lot of video game and rock references throughout the series. In this old interview online, he even talks about how he would like a Regular Show video game to be similar to Toe Jam and Earl.
The other type of game that I think would be really fun is maybe like a Toe Jam and Earl style game, where they're just kind of like walking around the park and like hanging out, and then like you can split screens and like leave each other. But you're basically just like something where they're looking for something over these like different levels of the world, and it feels like Regular Show would be pretty well suited for a platform like that.
Regular Show would be Toe Jam and Earl. That would be Toe Jam and Earl, totally. I could see that.
Oh my god, that is just too perfect. He has also mentioned in interviews how he enjoyed British comedy, particularly surreal comedy such as The League of Gentlemen. A really weird show that I totally see the influence of on the series. In his young age, he did a little stop motion animation. So did I. He worked in a lot of minimum wage jobs just like moi. He even worked in a film theater, which so did I, except I was the manager. Were you the manager, JG? Were you? Slacker? Ha! That's 1 point to old Ashley. 80-1, catching up. So far we have learned we are basically the same person. I'm the Rigby to his Mordecai, but here is where our paths completely diverge. Just guess where he went to college. Go on, Where do you think? Well, cock-a-doodle-doo if you said CalArts, then la-di-da, you just won the no shit Sherlock Award. Of course it's CalArts. It's always CalArts. Unless you are the party man fan partable, you go to CalArts. Well, in CalArts, JG with others will play some creative writing games, such as pulling names from hats and creating a short based around the concept. Regular show storyboard artists Toby Jones and Owen Dennis briefly touch upon these writing game processes on the What a Cartoon podcast, where they discuss one of the best episodes from the show. It was also Cal Farts. Got him. It was also this CalArts process that led him into a very early prototype for the series titled The Naive Man from Lolliland in 2005, which originated from this 48-hour drawing challenge.
I said good show. Very good show.
That was The Naive Man from Lolliland. A bit rough around the edges, I agree, but this actually went on to be one of the winners in the 2005 season of the Nicktoons Film Festival. I never heard of that festival either, but there you go. Well, would you look at that? That's a lot of paper. According to the main man himself, it took him 8 months to draw, so maybe he has a rougher 48-hour film challenge version tucked away somewhere. Way to go, JG. Way to go. So, what happens in the short? Not much, honestly. The Proto Pops is finishing up in a restaurant, showing the waiter a very handsome photo of himself in the papers before paying his bill. It's all very jovial, but trouble comes when the Proto Pops tries to pay with lollipops. The restaurant staff is not having this, and like so many episodes of the regular show, a brawl breaks out. Pops eventually drags himself out of the restaurant and has his driver, Benson, drive his flying car back to Lollipop Land, hoping one day he can be friends with America. Good luck with that, buddy. The short ends with a Back to the Future reference. That JG, he has some top-notch taste.
You gotta help us. We're stuck in the 80s.
This is a really interesting short, and it's much faster paced than you would expect it to be. Similar to the show, it starts off rather mundane and ordinary before its crazy escalation. Along with Proto Pops, we get the name drop of Benson, but also the chef sounds a little similar to my mom. I mean to Muscle Man. Sam Marin, who voices all three on the show, does all the voices in this short. A fun little oddity, when we watch the next short, you can kind of see how they were combined to help form the bones of what the main series became. 2 in the AM, PM. Right away, before we watch, I just want to say I love the name. Perfection. This short is twice as long and twice as good. We see JG, yes, that's right, JG working with a shorter friend in a petrol station. Mordecai and Rigby, anyone? The fun, juvenile way they talk is exactly how we would hear Mordecai and Rigby chat in the main series.
Dude, want some candy?
Nah, no thanks.
Oh, come on. It's Halloween.
Come
on, you gotta have candy, man.
The shorter friend isn't Rigby, however, it is Benson, here voiced again by lovable Sam Marin. Just like the first short and the show, it all starts off as a regular, everyday, normal, boring situation. Benson is bored and annoyed he has 2 more hours of work. To cheer him up, JG convinces him to have candy since it is Halloween. Now, in the show, crazy and surreal, trippy things just happen and aren't explained. We just roll with the punches. But here we get an explanation. It turns out that Mr. JG coated the candy in acid, causing them both to go on a trip. But it is JG who ends up being the more annoyed and angry one at Benson because Benson had the goal to be mad about this. Some people just don't appreciate nice gestures. It's just a sad fact of life. As the trip takes hold, we see Benson take his gumball form and Mordecai eventually takes on his Blue Jay design from the show. Both are very accurate to how they would look. They also take other forms, including a cameo from Proto Pops. When they realize they have a customer, they have to concentrate on trying to take their regular form and get through the transaction. We have this great scene of them interacting with the customers, who turns out to be a police officer. Just when it seems they have gotten away with it, we get this crazy wacky ending with the police officer hoovering in these stale chips and causing a slight hurricane before he tears off his own head, hops on it, and flies it through the walls. Okay, different, I'll give him that. Well, things seem to be back to normal for our heroes, and it finishes with the rarest thing of all. A funny, well, why don't you watch for yourself?
I fucking hate you.
Jolly good show! Moving forward, JG finished up his fancy college learning and got credits on shows like Flapjack, and he did some other stuff, I assume. Eventually, he was invited to pitch for Cartoon Network's Cartoonstitute. What a fun, delightful name. Jolly good. This was designed as a showcase for animated shorts created without the interference of network executives and focus testing. It was headed by the Craigster, Craig McCracken, and Rob Renzetti, known for his show Life as a Teenage Robot. 39 shorts were greenlit for the project. 14 were completed, but only 2 went on to become shows. Uncle Grandpa and of course Regular Show. Other shows kind of came out of this, but we will look at those in a future episode. So remember, like and subscribe for more silly me talking about silly things. Quental pitched his show with storyboards, reasoning that I don't think me verbally pitching such an odd concept would have made any sense to anyone. Well, he's not wrong, and thank God he did it. The agreement with Cartoon Network on the premise of Regular Show was that the series would be about 2 park groundskeepers. Mordecai, a 6-foot blue jay, and Rigby, a hyperactive trash panda, who try to entertain themselves at their jobs while doing anything they can to avoid work and escape their everyday boredom. Part of the original pitch was for the setting to be in a zoo, which you can still see hints of in this pilot. Speaking of this pilot, let's finally dive into the first official Regular Show media. The pilot is a little rougher to how the show looks, but not Simpsons Season 1 rough, and not even Simpsons Season 2 rough. It's almost there. The lines are not always consistent, and the scene with the extra characters looks really bad compared to how the extras would look in the main show. Muscle Man and High Five Ghost can be seen in this terrible crowd shot, but they don't have any lines and don't really get any focus. Mordecai as well isn't 100%. I think they struggled with how to handle that line that comes out from his eyes. Even in Season 1, this is a bit weird, with it often going above his eyes. At some stage they tie it down, but here it doesn't have the consistency. Everyone who we see has their personality, except possibly Skips, who just grunts a couple lines. So we don't really get too much from him. He doesn't seem to be as smart as he would be in the full series, where it is Skips who usually knows how to solve all their problems. But here it is actually Benson who figures out what they need to do to get rid of this horrifying Lovecraftian deity who wants that couch. The plot is a perfect example of how the show works. Something mundane like playing rock, paper, scissors to win an uncomfortable couch from Pops. Benson says that it is an evil game, and sure enough, on their 100th high, a portal opens up in the sky. In this portal, we see this Lovecraftian beast who decides because one of them couldn't win that he would take the couch for himself and anything else that gets in his way. Mordecai throws another game of rock, paper, scissors to close the portal, but the couch, unfortunately, is half destroyed. Things then go back to normal, like nothing ever happened, with Benson screaming at our heroes to clean up their mess. Of course, they immediately decide to play rock, paper, scissors again for who gets to drive the cart. Oh, Mordecai and Rigby, please never change for 8 seasons and a movie. The pilot is so close to the show, it is even reused and extended in a Season 2 episode, acting as a prequel to the series. Though, I found it strange when I first watched all the episodes in order and we got this origin in a random episode. It has a lot of added footage, including a really nice montage of Mordecai and Rigby getting their jobs in the park. Muscle Man and High Five Ghost appear in the episode properly with dialogue and of course Muscle Man's catchphrase.
You know who else is gonna play quartz parchment shears for your old Sidalona? Who? My mom!
They aren't just badly drawn background characters. Some lines of dialogue are swapped for some reason, such as Rigby asking Mordecai to play rock, paper, scissors instead.
Rock, paper, scissors for who gets to drive the cart.
Rock, paper, scissors for who gets to drive the cart?
Also, there are a lot of extra lines added here and there. It's interesting to see the newer animation pop up in between the older footage, and maybe it's just me, but I feel the voices are a bit jarring in these newer sections as they are just a bit more refined than all the older footage. And that brings us to the end of another thrilling episode of Pilots with more dad humor than a mom can disappointedly shake her head at. So now that it's done, you have two options. Number 1, you can check out more pilots from the Ash Tube Vault, or number 2, you can listen to Benson and...
Get back to work!
Boy, I sure did say a thing or two about a thing or two. Who knows what I might say next? Could be something good. Only one way to find out, and that's by liking and subscribing. Go on, you know you want to.